There's a reason some colors follow you like shadows, pulling in energies you never intended. It's not fashion, it's a signal. One color, one choice can open the door to forces that watch, whisper, and wait. You've worn it before, but after today, you'll never wear it the same way again. There's a realm you don't see, but it sees you. A world beneath the surface where symbols are language and colors are codes. Most people think what they wear is about confidence, culture, or comfort. But there's one color, ancient and dark, that has been used not to express, but to expose. Witches, sorcerers, and manipulators of unseen forces have used it for centuries, not because it's beautiful, but because it binds. It marks, it signals, it magnetizes attention from powers that don't want your success, they want your submission. And the tragedy, millions wear it thinking they're just being bold, not knowing they become visible in a world where invisibility was protection. This color doesn't just complement your outfit, it invites inspection, spiritual inspection, energetic targeting, emotional exhaustion. Because with every thread, it screams, here I am. There is wisdom in what we wear. Our garments aren't just fabric, they're declarations. And when you wear this particular color, you're declaring something beyond the natural. You're saying, I am available to be noticed by realms unseen. And the moment you do that, you stop being just another person in the crowd. You become a beacon. Not to lovers or leaders, but to watchers and weavers of spiritual chaos. Some will laugh, some will roll their eyes, but the ancient world knew this. The kings knew it. The prophets knew it. Even the enemies of light knew it. This color used in rituals, curses, seductions, and sacrifices was never just chosen for aesthetic. It was chosen for its spiritual vibration, for its power to pierce dimensions. You think it's random, but those who conjure and manipulate don't do anything random. They do it with reason. You've been wondering why on some days everything feels heavy, why strangers stare too long, why your thoughts spiral when there's no reason. Maybe it's not your mind. Maybe it's what you're marked with. Maybe it's what you put on that morning, unknowingly putting yourself in alignment with a frequency that feeds off your energy. You can't afford to be naive. Life isn't just natural, it's supernatural. And every decision you make either draws protection or permits penetration. Some garments you wear keep you grounded. Others lift you up. But this one color, it doesn't ground you. It exposes you. It attracts those who don't knock before entering spiritual doors. Clothing should cover you, empower you, reflect your identity, not distort it. But wear this color too often and your identity begins to blur. You stop feeling like yourself. You find yourself struggling with thoughts you never had, temptations you never invited, shadows you never summoned, because your presence isn't quiet anymore, it's loud, spiritually loud. The solution isn't fear. It's awareness. You were born to walk with purpose, not confusion. To glow with light, not be chased by shadows. But that starts with wisdom in every detail, including what you wear. The world wants to tell you it's just fashion. But ask yourself this, why is this specific color used in almost every ritual ceremony and dark invocation? Is that coincidence or is it a clue? You don't need to burn your closet, but you do need to understand your value. Your spiritual worth is too high to be treated like a mannequin. You're not a billboard for the unseen to play with. You're a force, a light. But lights need filters or they blind. Power needs direction or it destroys. This color was meant to take your power and rewire it toward chaos. But now you know. Don't wear what they used to mark. Don't flash what they used to track. Don't be the invitation they've been waiting for. Protect your presence, guard your energy, and never forget. Even in silence, you are being read. Make sure you're not wearing their language. There's a silent language the world wears and most people never hear it. Every color carries a frequency, and every frequency sends a signal outward and inward. You may think your clothing is harmless, a choice based on mood or trend, but beyond the mirror, forces are watching. Colors activate unseen responses. They stir memories in the spiritual world. Some bring peace, others war. Some attract protection, others predators. One particular color has long been the uniform of hidden agendas, a call sign for energies that feed on the unaware. You didn't mean to speak their language, but your appearance gave them permission. Your body may walk in light, but your fabric cries out from shadows. To survive in a world that sees beyond sight, you must wear awareness, because what clothes your skin could also clothe your destiny. Throughout the ages, this one color has been woven into dark ceremonies and rituals, not because of beauty, but because of power. Not the kind of power that lifts you, but the kind that drains you. It's a shade that whispers to the unseen. This one is available. Practitioners of shadow arts use it to mark, to lure, to influence. They've known for centuries what modern minds dismiss as nonsense. But the past didn't fade, it evolved. The rituals never ended, they just became more fashionable. Wearing this color places you on a frequency that makes you visible where you once were invisible. Suddenly your emotions shift, your sleep changes, your focus shatters. You ask why and never guess it was stitched into your shirt. What you wear matters more than the world has taught you. You don't need to chant, meditate, or open a portal to be contacted by spiritual forces. Sometimes it's enough to just wear the wrong color. That's how subtle influence works, quiet, invisible, but consistent. The problem isn't fashion, it's what your fashion says without your knowledge. You may feel drawn to this color, not knowing why. It might feel empowering at first, bold and fierce, but it also makes you a magnet. It pulls in attention that isn't always human, nor friendly. Because to them, that color means something sacred, something binding. Once worn, it's like painting a target on your spirit, visible only in the realm you can't see. And once marked, things begin to shift, not immediately, but steadily. That's how traps work. They feel comfortable until they close. The threads you wear are not just fabric, they are statements. Each one woven with intention or ignorance. Most believe clothing is for confidence or climate or culture. But wise ones know every stitch carries energy. When you wear a color that has long been used in darkness, you echo ancient calls. You revive signals that were meant to stay buried. You can walk into a room and suddenly feel drained, anxious, watched. What changed? Maybe nothing in the room, maybe everything in what you wore. You are more than skin. Your spirit reacts to symbols even when your mind does not understand them. That color on your body isn't just a hue, it's a message. And some messages aren't meant for the light. The wise understand that nothing is neutral in this world, not even appearance, especially not appearance. When ancient societies used color, they weren't just decorating, they were directing power. Every symbol, every tone was a spiritual tool. You can dismiss this if you like, but ignorance doesn't protect you, only awareness does. This one color, so common today, was once reserved for darkness. Its presence in a ritual meant the difference between freedom and bondage. Now, it's worn casually, thoughtlessly, fashionably, but the spiritual world doesn't forget meanings just because modern minds do. To wear it is to echo rituals you never consented to. And the spirits it summons, they don't ask questions, they just respond. Your wardrobe is more powerful than your words, because what you wear is often the first signal you send into the world. And in spiritual terms, signals matter. This color, this mark has long been a doorway. Not to success, not to clarity, but to confusion, seduction, and spiritual heaviness. It doesn't knock, it enters. It doesn't protect, it exposes. It's not just about appearance, it's about alignment. The more you wear it, the more your light bends without explanation. Your thoughts become foggy. Your energy feels unstable. You think you're just tired, but you're actually entangled. Entangled in a vibration that doesn't belong to you, but was invited by your own ignorance. That's the cost of spiritual exposure. You've been told to protect your heart, protect your mind, protect your space. But who told you to protect your image? The truth is, your image is a gateway, and some forces don't care how strong your spirit is. If your appearance invites them in, they'll test the door. Wearing this color is like leaving your window open in a storm. It doesn't mean the storm will destroy you, but it does mean you'll get soaked. You'll be affected. And little by little, what you thought was just style begins to shift your reality. What if the depression wasn't yours? What if the attraction to certain energies was invited by color, not character? You won't know until you stop giving open signals to a closed world. This color wasn't chosen at random by those who manipulate power. They studied its effect, meditated on its vibration, and used it deliberately. They understood it wasn't just about visibility, it was about spiritual availability. And once the color becomes part of your regular expression, so does the attention it brings. What begins as fashion ends as frustration. Life becomes more reactive. Emotions become unstable. You struggle to hold focus, peace, clarity. It isn't always demonic, it's sometimes just dimensional. Wearing a key without knowing it's a key is still dangerous, because someone else will recognize the door you're holding open. And once they walk through, you don't just lose peace, you lose authority. There's a reason why those who manipulate energy pay so much attention to what is worn. Why priests, witches, and spiritual guides all have colors they wear for ritual. They don't choose based on mood, they choose based on message. That's how the spiritual realm works: symbols over speech, intent over appearance. Wearing this one color, you become an accidental participant in a conversation you never started. You open a spiritual frequency that calls to the wrong audience. And even if you meant no harm, your image says otherwise, because the realm of energy doesn't care about your intentions, it responds to signals. And some colors scream louder than words. You think it's just you when you feel uneasy, just you when your emotions shift for no reason. But spiritual sensitivity often begins where natural logic ends. And what if that sensitivity isn't random? What if it's triggered by the very thing you put on that morning? That one color, known for its allure, also carries the weight of attraction, dark attraction. Forces that don't belong in your life, yet arrive without explanation. You can cleanse your space, pray, speak affirmations, but until you understand what's inviting these energies in the first place, you'll keep fighting battles that were avoidable. And all because of a decision made at your closet. Some believe the world is ruled by sound, others by action, but few realize the depth of symbols. The spiritual world is not noisy, it is sensitive, precise, and sharp. It does not listen to your words, it listens to those signals. One of the most consistent and overlooked signals is the color you wear. A particular shade has been infused with centuries of spiritual association, used intentionally by those who manipulate atmospheres and call on hidden powers. That color is not a trend, it's a tool, a cloak of consent. A signal flare in the unseen. When you wear it, knowingly or not, you enter a realm where neutrality doesn't exist. Energies are not passive, they respond to what is familiar. And this color is far too familiar to forces that thrive on confusion, lust, weakness, and distraction. If you wear it often without spiritual clarity, you risk becoming a walking portal. That doesn't mean harm will come instantly, but you become available to things you'd rather avoid. Silence won't shield you. Fashion won't protect you. Only wisdom will. There are people who once walked in clarity and peace until their emotional state shifted, and they couldn't explain why. They blamed stress, hormones, bad luck, but few traced it back to what they put on every morning. When you wear something, you agree with it, you form an unconscious contract, you speak without speaking. Some colors hold the energy of openness, others of closure. This specific color, used in many secret orders and ancient rites, was chosen for its power to influence. Influence moods, influence attraction, influence outcome. The problem is, when you wear what was designed to influence others, you also become influenced. The color doesn't care who you are. It amplifies energy. And if you are not rooted, it amplifies chaos. It heightens your vulnerability. It weakens your spiritual filter. You feel exposed but can't see why. You feel drawn to certain people who are not good for you. That's not style, that's signal manipulation. In times past, people dressed not only with awareness, but with spiritual intention. What you wore was tied to purpose. Certain colors were sacred not because of superstition, but because of spiritual alignment. Wearing them in the wrong season, in the wrong spirit, brought consequences. Now, in modern times, we laugh at such wisdom. We call it myth, but the spiritual world didn't go silent. It just stopped speaking in ways we listen to. That color, the one you see promoted by media, glamorized by artists, and worn by influencers, still carries its original charge. That charge doesn't disappear because society rebranded it. Your ancestors avoided it for a reason. But now we wear it for attention, unaware that it brings a different kind of attention, one that doesn't bless, one that doesn't protect. You must unlearn what culture normalized and remember what truth preserved. Because even in silence, colors speak. Some doors in life don't need to be open, they just need to be left alone. But wearing the wrong color is like leaning on a door until it cracks. You don't mean to enter, but now the invitation is out. You think it's just coincidence that trouble started when you changed how you dress, but you never connected the dots. The moment that color became your identity, the atmosphere around you shifted. Relationships got heavier. Decisions got harder. Dreams became darker. You called it transition, but it was infiltration. You never questioned that your change in style might have carried spiritual weight. But now you know. Now you're accountable. Because in the realm of spirit, the body is only part of the picture. What covers the body often determines what approaches the spirit. And not everything that approaches has your well-being in mind. Some are only waiting for an open gate, one opened by something as small as a shade. People often think the battle for their soul will be loud, obvious, explosive. But in reality, the enemy is subtle, strategic, ancient. It won't always come through pain. It may come through pleasure, through preference, through appearance, through the very thing you celebrate about yourself. That's why this color is so dangerous, because it feels like empowerment. It looks like royalty. It wears like confidence. But beneath the surface, it shouts to every spiritual manipulator, here is someone unguarded. Here's someone willing. Not because you said yes, but because you didn't know how to say no. You didn't know that what you put on could be heard in dimensions your words never reached. But now you know. And knowing is the beginning of reversal, the beginning of reclamation. You don't have to wear the enemy's armor to feel strong. You don't have to attract darkness to feel noticed. Choose again. Dress again. But this time with understanding.